Morning, beautiful team, and welcome to our, I don't even know what day it is, Sunday, August 16th, team hangout this morning. Yay! Look at all the faces popping on. Everyone's awake. Everyone's doing well. Sarah, I don't know what time it is for you over there, or even Sergaline. I think you're ahead though, right? It's like 12 o'clock there?
12 o'clock.
You're already awake, right? Us here on the West Coast, we're just getting our day started right now. Okay, so I did hit record. I do have a couple of things that I wanted to touch on this morning before we kick things off. So many of us are in Team Cup right now, which is awesome. And Team Cup is like a super friendly way of challenging ourselves, of connecting with our team, of building systems and sharing strategies that work. And one of the things that I went over on the team call this past week about inviting was creating an actual event. So I'm not going to walk you through how to create an actual event and the banner and all of that. I put the picture out to some of the Team Cup teams, but what I want to suggest, I know we have talked about free groups in the past, is I want to suggest that everyone, not just those of you on a Team Cup team, but everyone for the next few months host a free group. And the reason that I'm saying this is because we're kind of in, traditionally speaking, we're going into the slower part of the year, right? People slow down in the fall. People don't necessarily jump into fitness because they're all enjoying their big puffy coats and their baggy sweatpants, right? So they're not really thinking about it. That could be very different because we are in a pandemic and, right, people won't have access to gyms. So I don't know what it's going to look like. What I want you to do though is have many different opportunities to connect with people. All right. And so running one free group a month, whether you do it by yourself, whether you do it with a couple of people, maybe you do with your Team Cup team for the next few months. I think it's a really, really, really good idea. And I'm going to share with you kind of what I did just for our Team Cup team. So it gives you an idea of what you can do moving forward. So like I mentioned on the inviting call on Wednesday, when you move your Instagram account to a business or creator account, you are forced to open up a Facebook fan page. So this is my fan page, Facebook business page. Here is my Free to Be Girls page. All right. So from my Free to Be Girls page, I then go to events, and down here you will see I have 2 events coming up. So I have my free group is going to be this back to school boot camp. And the reason I picked August 24th as the date was because if I run a free group for the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th, so that's 5 days, okay? I then have the 29th, 30th, 31st for like a final push in the month to hit my goals, right? So I have that, plus I'm now going into September with people to talk to, right? Because I'm going to run this free group for them in the end of August. So this back to school boot camp, all I did was, I know there's more of a discussion here about what it is, but about it just says tickets discussion. I don't even think there is a discussion. So anyway, here it is, details. So join us for a free 5-day back to school boot camp. We all know what the back to school rush can be quite insane, and in a pandemic, it's likely to be even more insane. So let's stay sane together. Let's create some good routines with fitness, nutrition, and overall wellness that will kickstart this school year and help us finish 2020 strong and united. Okay? So that's all I did for the event. I just hit create event, and then this was I made this picture in PicMonkey. You guys are all welcome to use the photo, but you need to have something to invite to. So then when I go to my invite friends, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I think I already invited my friends. which is why it's not letting me look at the invites. Let's see. Try change how I look at it. Because I'm going share here. I think here, down here, if I click invite friends under the share button, there it'll say invite friends, right? So then I would go, and Facebook lets you invite 499 people. All right, so you can go through and pick as many as you want to invite to this back to school boot camp. All right, so now, right now I have 8 going and 14 interested. So I have 20, what is that, 22 people to reach out to that I can now have a conversation with about this event. So now you have this event. What do you do with this event? You put these people into a Facebook group. So it's the same name, back to school boot camp. And I've used the same banner, and here's the same description of the group. And I will add people to this group as they, like when we have this conversation, okay, about this is our free group, yada, yada, yada. So I don't run the event on the event page. We run the event in the Facebook group, okay? So I'm not gonna show you how to do that. It's literally like you go to your create a group, and then you add people into the group, you invite them in there. Now, the thing with this is I think that you guys should simplify your life as much as possible with this. So what I have done for myself is I actually have a ton of notes that I save in my phone, because when I save them in my phone, I also have access to them on my laptop, right? So I have created, my sample workout list is here. So I have all of the sample workouts, including MBF. I have to add MBFA, saved in my note so that I can then put these links into the group. The other way that you can find the sample workout is if you go to, make sure you're not logged into Beachbody On Demand, because if you're logged into Beachbody On Demand, it's not going to share the sample workout the same way. I actually think it might share it with your coach ID, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So one way that you can share it is if you just go to Beachbody On Demand, and the workouts that have beachbodyondemand.com, the workouts that have a sample. So I'm not logged in when I go here. Pulls up. So if I go to programs and say I wanted to send someone the MBFA sample workout, I would click on MBFA, I would click on try workout, and then it's going to pull up that accept this blue screen, but just click on the bar at the top and then copy that into your notes. And that's the workout that you would share in your free group. So like my suggestion for your free group is to share 1 workout a day and 1 recipe a day, and then have a check-in. And that's it, right? Like don't overthink it. So you could do a recipe, your workout first thing in the morning, so that people can have a chance that day to work out. Then you share a recipe around like lunchtime, and then you do a check-in post at 4 p.m. Super simple, same check-in post every day. Recipes get from like Clean Week, or get from the blog, or get from like, don't go out of your way. We have so many resources to use in order to do that. All right, so this is a really great way for us to create conversations. And I really think, like, especially going into the end of the year, it's a great way to keep the momentum going with people, right? So that you always have those people that you're talking to. The second thing I wanted to quickly share, which has nothing to do with this, is I had asked a bunch of you or those of you who are interested in doing it, to work on this chart. Are you guys seeing this push to elite chart? Yes? Can someone just give me a thumbs up? Are you seeing like a spreadsheet on a Google Sheet? Yes? Okay. So what this, and a lot of people were like, I don't understand what this means. And the reason that I did it is I wanted people to update their own teams. So like there's Margot, there's Max, Corley, Leslie. I don't have everyone in there yet, but I would really love you to, if you are wanting to understand how to track your business, then it's really important to understand where people are at. So I'm going to use Ashley as an example because she did update the thing. So she's on my left leg. Her goal is diamond. She put in August 31st. I didn't write those things. So does she have 100 PV? Yes, she does. Does she have a left emerald? No. She does have a left active coach, right? And then those are 2 no's because you need to have 4 active coaches on each side to be diamond, and then 1 on each leg needs to be emerald. So that's all this is a simple way of like tracking her coaches. So she has the amount of PV. She doesn't have a left emerald. She has a left active. She doesn't have the other 2 left. She doesn't have a right emerald. She has a right active, and then she doesn't have the other ones, right? So that's a good way. And then once you have coaches that you add to your team, you fill and you update your information on this chart. All right, so I don't put in here like, we have way more coaches than these number of coaches, right? And I haven't put everyone in here, like I haven't added Sergaline yet. I haven't added everyone into my leg yet. And I know Clarissa hasn't either, but I had people asking me, I don't understand what this thing is. So that's what it is. If you need to add a row because you have more people. So let's say I need to add someone in here. I just highlight it, and everyone has the ability to edit the chart. And I go insert row above, right? And there will be a brand new row there where I can add in the information. So it would be cool if everyone tried that is building and actively wanting to build, just hop in and have a look at the chart. I will put it in the weekly email today so that everyone can see kind of where they're at. All right, so that's it for me this morning. And then you guys can unmute and ask your questions and we'll go from there. Don't be silent, otherwise I'm gonna put my music on. Maybe you want my music on. Who's asking first? Who's coming off? Margot, just break the ice. I know I can always count on you for that. So
for that book, Tamara.
Oh, who said that?
Oh, me, Marisol.
Okay, Marisol, go.
Okay, I just want to ask Tamara. So for that Facebook group, the Bootcamp Back to School, how do you add like random people? Because like I have like lots of Facebook friends, right? But not all of them live in the US or Canada. So how do you like find like just like random people, maybe people you don't know? Like, did you put a promotion there and then people just like ask you to join the group, or?
You can. It depends on where you're. So I will talk about it on my Instagram feed, even though they can't kind of access the group from Instagram. I will talk to them and ask them, like I'll put it out there. We're running a free 5-day back to school boot camp. Would you like information about it? And some people aren't even on Facebook. So then they're kind of, unfortunately, it doesn't work for those that aren't on Facebook. But for those that are, then I would send them the link to the group and they can ask to join. And in my group, when I set up my group, there's always you have the option of asking questions for people to come into the group, right? So many of you have gone through a coach information session with us where when you asked to join, you had to put in what coach invited you to the group and what your email address was, all right? So I always copy people's email addresses down, and then like if they're my people, and then we know who was invited to that group. So that's one way that you can get people that you don't know. You can boost events on Facebook. I haven't had a ton of success in it. I know Christina has. She has boosted events before on Facebook and had success with it. We really haven't had a ton of success with getting like good people into a free group like that. So the other way that I do it is I made sure that I was constantly kind of adding friends of friends that were in North America. on Facebook, right? Like
Okay.
I would go and into somebody's, you know, or people you may know. The thing with the people you may know button is I never add people that are friends with coaches on our team, right? Because I don't want to add, you know, your friends and Margot's friends, and right, that doesn't feel right. I want to add people that are outside of, you know, the coaching exposure to the coaching world. So that's what I would do. And then if you're going to host a free group and you're adding friends, like new people on your Facebook, then I always send, when someone accepts my friend request, I always send them a message like, hey, thanks so much for adding me. I appreciate the good vibes. Just out of curiosity, because you're going to be hosting that free group, my team and I are hosting an upcoming free back to school boot camp. Would you be interested in more information? Right? They're not buying anything. They're not, but they're also getting to know kind of who you are and what you're up to. So those are two ways that I would suggest. Does that help?
All right. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I guess that's how I would do it. Thanks, Tamara.
You're welcome. Okay, Margot, what was it? Let's go. I got an email last week after the team call, Margot, that was like, oh my gosh, Tamara, I almost peed my pants. Margot with the walker workout.
We have to appeal to our audience, people.
That's right.
We're not all 20-something or 30-something. We're a lot of older people in this thing.
It was so funny. It's like, that was the best team call ever with Margot and her walker workout. So.
Well, in all honesty, it is kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
I work in the health and technology district, and I see people actually anywhere between 24, young fellow who's 24, up to 80, and they've had traumatic brain injury, whether they've had accidents. A fellow got a tree fell in his truck and he broke his back, and he's 25 years old, and he was a hockey player, and now he's in a wheelchair. And then there's a young girl who fell out of a tree. She's 24 years old, and she comes in pushing her wheelchair with a straw thing in her mouth. And then there's older people who have had strokes and blah, 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 blah. I see all of that. So the reality of the whole, I mean, this is great. This is Beachbody business, and we're helping people. But honestly, everybody on this call, do please understand that you're actually honestly helping people. Like, you are doing an amazing job because food, nutrition in the body, going in the mouth, feeding the liver, feeding the spleen, feeding the guts, feeding the whatever, drinking lots of water. It's actually what the human body needs. Like, it really does. And and then of course adding the workouts as well, just keeps that nice physique. Once you get the nutrition into on board, or whatever, or you're doing nutrition right, then the workouts sculpt the body and make it strong. And then, heaven forbid, you face a challenge, you're way more apt to be able to deal with it better if you go in strong, fit, lots of nutrition. Then you got to go on to your next, whatever life holds for you. But I'm just saying that our opportunity here with teaching people how to eat well and exercise is, there's nothing like it out there. I'm watching, sorry, Tamara, I'm taking over here, but I watched a couple of Facebook Lives yesterday from a couple of friends of mine who were saying about taking this supplement and suppressing your appetite, drinking this drink, it suppresses your appetite so you don't want to eat. Why does the spleen not want nutrition? Does the liver not want nutrition? The liver and the spleen, they just don't want anything. So, sorry, I got a little hot and heavy on these things that I saw yesterday, and I was like, yeah, God.
But that's when
because you can lose sorry, go ahead.
that's when I would say that I did a quote this morning, use your voice, right? Because, and say it loud. I got really nervous posting the post I did yesterday about, on my personal page, about like my fuck no ingredients that are not in food. And I had one lady kind of like get mad at me on it. And I was like, bring it on. Seriously, like this is my list. This doesn't have to be your list. But someone else is reading this and for the first time might actually read the labels on the ingredients, right? And so that was the entire point of my message, like, not you have to have the same list as me. So use your voice and share it loud, right? Talk about, like, you know, I don't know, I think we should do a post, like, especially those of us who are older, about, I want to be able to stand up off the toilet when I'm 80 and not have to have help. Right? Like those sorts of things are going to hit home with people that are like, oh shit, I'm struggling to stand up off the toilet. You know, and the more that we learn about it is, it's huge. Like the people that are really affected by COVID are the people who are struggling with obesity, who have, you know, like they have fatty liver disease. Their detoxification systems are already so overwhelmed in their bodies that their body can't take one more thing, right? And we get to help them so that their body can take that one more thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, so don't apologize for getting all fired up. I almost had a heart attack when I read what was in Herbalife. That was my last week call, right? And it's still still on a roll with it. So
if any of you are following or on my Facebook page or whatever, just take a look at the post that Kim, and I don't know how Facebook works because I think I have 4,000 or whatever friends, and I think maybe 5 people see the post. But anyway, Kim, my BFF, who's not on the call today, but she is a Beachbody coach as well, and she went through uterus cancer. And when she did research on cancer, there's a website called Cancer Schmancer, and it was done by actually the woman who was in The Nanny. Remember that Fran Drescher or whatever, and she had, so she had either breast cancer or something, I can't remember, but she created this whole, or she and a group of people created this website. It's called Cancer Schmancer, and it tells you the types of food you should be eating if you do have cancer, because sugar does feed cancer cells. It just does. So it tells you, says to eat this, eat that, eat the other, whatever. And the video that Kim just shared today, which we did 3 years ago when she was going through chemo, explains to the world, or to the 5 people that are listening, exactly what we should be eating, which is exactly what the 21-day fix little freaking containers tell you to eat. It's like, it drives me crazy that people try to do quick fixes and everything when what we have works the exact same and it feeds your insides. Anyway, sorry, I'm a little bit hot and bothered today.
No, but don't apologize.
I will let you go.
No, and don't apologize. Keep going, keep talking, and keep sharing, and use that frustration as a way, and talk about it all the time on your social media. Don't feel like you can't, like, take little pieces of it and share it all the time, right? The other thing with cancer is that cancer hides in the fat cells that are around our organs, right? So if we have that fat that is around our organs in our abdomen, that's where those cancer cells are going to hide. And then they're going to mutate, and then they're going to grow, right? And they're going to feed off of that. So that's the other component to what we do right there. So it's all about sharing and finding the passionate in it. And yeah, maybe you are at that stage in your life. Marisol's at a different stage in her life, right? Where she's, not talking to those people, but talking to the people who are like, come on, you guys, like, let's do this together and be active. She might not be at that stage. And that's what I love about this, is that there's so much variety in the number, like the different people we can all reach, that we can all help. So don't apologize. Don't apologize for wanting to help someone live a longer life. That's a pretty remarkable thing, right?
You feel you feel like, I don't feel like I'm an authority on the subject because it's not what I've trained to do. But I almost feel like I am an authority on the subject because I'm 150 years old. So when you're 150 years old, you then know what really should be happening with the world.
Right.
Margot,
So,
if you're
and for
150
me,
years old, so am I.
You guys are like,
yes, Max,
So you're putting me in the same box you are, and I don't think that's right. We're not 150 years old. Careful what you say there, girlfriend. I'm older than you.
well, you can't touch me because I'm over here and you're over there. So,
respect your elders.
nah, 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 nah.
But can I just pop in really quickly?
Yeah,
I'd like to say, sorry, I'm not running now. I'd like to say, Margot, that we don't have to be experts. You know, that's why we are partnered with Beachbody, because they have the experts. All our job is to deliver the science and the programs that the experts have done. So, because if we fear that we have to be experts, we scare people away from thinking that we can't do this. So it's really important that we admit we're not experts in this. And this is why we're not throwing out nutrition programs that we're randomly making. We're providing them with the opportunities to explore these proven exercise programs, rather than us feeling like we're give them a meal plan that, well, it worked for me, so maybe it'll work for you, right? So don't fear that feeling of that you're not an expert, because we don't have to be experts. If we have more expertise in it, great, but that doesn't make us a better coach. Just makes us a different coach.
Well, it's funny, Max, what you just said, because and I don't know what is going on with my little noggin right now, but when I look at the people who are friends of mine who are posting about their knowledge in a certain subject, and I know that they have that knowledge in that subject, but it's amazing. And here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people here that I can see. Maybe there's more, who do have a lot of knowledge, like Sarah, Richard, Max, Clarissa. I don't even, Mary Jo. I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at all these names. We all have way more knowledge than we probably think we do. And so I agree, Max. I think everybody on this call should be explaining the knowledge you have, because sometimes you don't think you know as much as you know. You know a lot in comparison to the people that I'm seeing they're posting about different things. They don't know, but you guys all know. So start posting. There you go. There's my message.
The other thing too is everybody knows, every single person, every single grown adult, you can probably even put kids into this, that if we want to be healthier, we have to eat better and be active. This is not rocket science. I could probably ask a 5-year-old in kindergarten and they would have the exact same answer. So as a species, we are very interesting because we are super intelligent and so dumb at the same time, right? Like where you're like, really? Why? You know, why are we doing those things? So as much as people know, they don't know, right? They don't know how to follow through. They don't know how to show up for themselves. They don't know how to push play on the workouts. They don't know that they can actually prove themselves right. They don't know that they can prove that they can do something, right? And so that's what our voice should be used for, is reminding them like, hey, #duh, if everyone followed through on what we already know, we would not be in this situation with when it comes to obesity and, you know, the average age declining, like the death rate or death age declining. You know, the kids that are in school right now aren't going to live as long as like us, our generation, because of the shit that we eat, because we are inactive as a society. So that's like, keep sharing that, because as much as we know it, we don't follow through on it, right? And that's what we need to be, is that link to that, like, I'm gonna help you follow through. So I had this lady yesterday, and she's a friend of mine from, our kids went to preschool together. And she's been talking to me for years about joining, right? No, I just couldn't. And then she was going through a nasty divorce, and now she's switched careers. And so she messages me yesterday, and she's like, she's like, life just got really busy. And when are you gonna when do you fit the workouts in? And I was like, okay, so I know her. I know she's sarcastic, so I'm gonna play into that sarcasm. And I just wrote her back and I said, okay, my friend, like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And the program I would start you on, because I know for her, I would do Morning Meltdown 100, is 19 to 32 minutes a day. So picture this is what I said. You set your alarm half an hour earlier every morning. You roll out of bed and you swear at me, because I'm going to be the one checking in. You swear at me a few times. You take your shot of pre-workout, you put your clothes on and brush your teeth, and you go work out. Then you shower, then you go to work, and you kick ass for the rest of the day after you swore at me a few times in the morning. Doesn't that sound like a pretty good day? Right? Like that's what I wrote back to her, because I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you're not getting away with this bullshit of I don't have enough time. We all have 24 hours in the day. For her, it's not a priority. And so I'm calling her on that shit. Yeah, she wants to feel good. And yeah, she wants to, it appeals to her on some level, but she's still talking herself out of it because she's like, oh, I don't know if I have that time. You're not driving to a gym. You're not like, you literally are going to roll out of bed and be like, oh, fuck you, Tamara. Like, seriously, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't care. Swear at me. Go for it. I'll be that person. I think that's why I like Amoyla so much, right? So get out of bed, and if I have to like call her, fine. I'll video or I'll audio message her on Facebook Messenger and be like her alarm clock. That's not a big deal, but it's that convincing, like we all have the same. Look good, Max. No, don't turn it off. It was awesome. Now I embarrassed her. But we all have that, right? And so sometimes it's just calling people on that shit, right? So I'm excited for her to reply because I think she's gonna laugh. Oh yeah.
I had a person who, it wasn't one of my people, but it was one of my coaches. She was speaking to a friend who really wants to lose weight and really wants to get healthy, and said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start getting healthy in October.
Why?
I don't know.
Did you ask her why October?
That's a good idea. Let's all focus, you guys. Everybody stop getting healthy right now. We're gonna start getting healthy in October. It's a better time to do it for sure.
That's so strange. And this person is Canadian?
I don't know. No, it's just, I think it's just, as you just said, sort of these excuses like, okay, I'm going to do this in September and I'm going to actually get healthy in October if October arrives.
Well, that's just it. What happens if they get COVID before then? You know what I mean? Like so much can happen.
Yeah, I know. I know. It drives me, people's excuses drive me nuts. Sorry, I'm on a rampage.
Yeah, keep it going because it's going to light a fire in all of us. That's when I would be like, oh, Angie wants to comment on that one. Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right, I'm going to comment, but I'm going to comment in the opposite way because I am that person that says I am going to start in October. And usually there is a reason for that. Like, it's that time, like for me, when I went into all this, the 21-day reset and all that stuff, I went in and I got devoted. You don't know what that person has in their life going on. Like sometimes it's not easy to start something when you have a crazy hectic schedule. Like for me, I'm not moving to North Vancouver anymore. My life just got turned upside down. Every time I want to sing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on that one. But
yeah.
The thing is that I was going to stop. I wanted to finish my MBFA. Last day of MBF, tomorrow MBFA, I'm excited. but I was going to put my workout and all that stuff on pause so I can get settled in, so then I can get work. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's funny, October, I'm going to start the four weeks of the prep. And then after that, I'm going to do this. So I was going to put my health and fitness on pause, but I was putting it on pause and waiting for October because of my situation, because I knew all I was going to do is disappoint myself. I was going to be, if I tell myself, yes, there is no excuses, but for me specifically, I was going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to keep on eating healthy and keep on doing stuff. And all I was going to do is disappoint myself, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. And I would be disappointing myself. I would be disappointing, you know, my Instagram stuff. So sometimes I think it's okay. I know you shouldn't put a date on it, but for me, I did put a date on it. And that's just because I knew myself, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to give it full. And the only person that I would be disappointing is me. And I just don't want to do that for myself. But that's why we're living a journey. We have our own journeys. And sometimes our journey can take pause, or sometimes we can put a date on when our journey begins. That's just because life. For us, I understand that there is no excuse, and people that are just pushing it back, there isn't. But in some cases, I think it's okay to have that excuse. But anyway, that's my point of view. It's quite the opposite, but I think it's just because I know what it's like to say, I'm going to do it on this day. And people are like, well, no, you should start now. And I'm like, well, no, I know I should start now, but these are my reasons. I don't need to explain my reasons kind of to you, kind of thing. So yeah, people make excuses, but sometimes they're pretty freaking good excuses. That's my 2 cents. Sorry.
I get it. I do get it. Do understand what you're saying, because no, when I first ordered I ordered
I don't hear you. You're cutting out. Margot, yeah, it's totally cutting out. When you go outside, we often lose you.
Can I ask you a quick question while she
regroups? Yes.
just in regards to I have somebody that wants to continue using Shakeology and she's a customer, so I have already moved one of my customers over to a discount coach, and I was going to do that with her too. But I can look it up myself, but do you know offhand if I just do the Shakeology completion pack with like the bod, it's $156. Can I use my promo code? No. Okay.
It has to be one of the more expensive. So it's like
that's
over
kind of what I thought.
160, right? It would take it down to a
yeah, what is it, like 132?
Yeah, no, it would take it down to like the 150 price.
Yeah, because I did the 80-day obsession is what I did for my other gal, and it's 150 with that.
Yeah. So it almost makes more sense for you to do that 80-day obsession one, right? And get some equipment with it as well, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, one other thing.
Yeah.
I was talking to my very best friend in the world yesterday. She lives in Calgary. Her and her daughter were doing 80-day obsession with me, which we finished now a couple weeks ago, and now they're doing like the year with autumn stuff, and they're doubling up workouts and this and that. And I've never asked her how much weight did you lose or anything like that, because they're pretty private. And I have a small messenger group for a few people that are still in there that didn't want to. She's in both BOD and that one, but we share on Messenger. And yesterday she told me that both her and her daughter both lost 20 pounds doing 80-day. And they did the time nutrition and they followed all that stuff. She is my friend who is like the most frugal person I know. And I never thought in a million years they would actually keep going with Shakeology, but they both felt so good on it. They both had some gut issues, and her daughter is 24, I think now, and wearing a bikini with confidence for the first time in her life.
Wow.
So I was so pumped last night when she was telling me that, and how good they feel, and how now like one workout a day doesn't always feel like enough. And anyway, super good news. Somebody who has struggled for so long that it does. And she's 50. How old am I? She's 53. She's a year older than me. And I'm just so happy for them. And it is possible, right? For all of us.
100%. You just gave me goosebumps everywhere.
Ah, felt
That
so
is
good.
so awesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, Margot, are you going to finish now? Now that we...
Can you hear me now? 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 So, Angie, I agree totally with you, because when I received my first little kit, 2015, I received it in May. I didn't open it until July. That's when I started in July. So I know what you mean. I do get it. I guess because I'm in it now, it's not that hard. Like it's actually, so I think that people, and you're right, they might think, oh my God, I'm going to change my whole life. My whole life in the future is going to change because of this healthy eating and fitness thing. So they overthink it because they don't know what they don't know. And that's it. But so I see that. I see the disconnect between, because I'm in it and I'm thinking, well, it's freaking easy.
Yeah.
You just figure out your food and your workouts, so 30 minutes a day, it's super easy. But people who don't know, they don't know. So I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember Danielle Natoni sharing once about how it was actually harder for her to connect with people because they don't relate to her, right? Most people don't have a body like Danielle Natoni. And so she works hard, but she's also like pretty genetically blessed, and she owns that part of it. And so I remember her saying in the beginning, like, people would be intimidated by her. I remember doing a poll on my Instagram story because I love sweating. I absolutely love to sweat. I feel so good when I get a good sweat. I feel like my body detoxed. I feel proud. I feel stronger. And I remember my mom once, when I started teaching Zumba, she came up to me at a class and she just looked at me. She's like, "You are disgusting." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Liquid awesome, Mom. It's liquid awesome." And she's like, "No, that's not awesome at all." So I did a poll in my story thinking that most people like to sweat. Nope. Most people do not like to sweat.
Mine was 100%.
Yeah.
No sweat.
Yeah, 100% no sweat. Like most people, I would say, like, I think I was 84% no sweating. I was so shocked. Like, are you serious? Like, I'm the unicorn in this, right? So people don't really relate to me in the fitness sense. So I have to have that, like, yeah, as much as the October 1st start date boggles my mind, I also have to have the awareness that they might be a little intimidated by the fact that I do show up every day in my stories with a workout. You know, that might be something that they can't picture for their life in that moment. They're just not there yet. So that's when you break it down to be like, that's awesome. Why don't we get you started on a fitness program October 1st, and in September we can work on some nutrition goals. You know, that's when, even if it's as simple as like, let's get you drinking 20 ounces of water. We'll do 2 weeks of 20 ounces of water 30 minutes before every meal. Right? Make it something small and they're going to be like, yeah, oh, I can do that. I can break that down. I can do that. I can manage that one step. And then you add in the fitness, which is why I always ask people now, how many days a week are you realistically going to push play on a workout? Because if it's less than 5 days a week, they're starting with morning meltdown. I'm not even going to put them in 21-day fix, because then they're going to be like, oh, 21-day fix took me 65 days. Like, they're not going to feel proud of that. They're going to be frustrated. So, yeah, it boggles our minds, right? Because we're like, no, just get there. But we have to have that ability to,
I think for me,
be empathetic.
Yeah. I think for me, I always, in every single, when somebody reaches out to me, everything, I always think of how it is for me. And I always look back to myself. I wasn't ready all those other times. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it this day. And then I did it, and then I messed up. And then I would do it again. I'm ready this time. And even now, my nutrition is not very good kind of this week because of life, because a lot of things have happened just in 1 week. So I know that when I get on the scale tomorrow and I measure and I take my pictures, there's most likely not going to be like any results. Maybe there will, maybe they won't, but I am perfectly fine with that. It sucks because I want there to be, because I'm like, I'm going to do, yep, I'm going to go straight and I'm going to do it good. I'm going to show results and I'm going to show everybody. But you know what? That was 3 weeks ago and I didn't know all the shit that was going to happen to me in 3 weeks. So I am okay with it. But of course, now I'm like, okay, well, if it's not good this time, then when I do MBFA, okay, I'm going to be good on my nutrition and all this and that. And that's really, really what I want. But I'm okay if that's not how it is, because I'm on a journey and I was ready to start my journey this year. And some people are and some people aren't. So I always have to look back and just be like, okay, how is it for me? How did I feel about this? And it's so true. Like even watching, I look at like Danielle Natoni, I look at all these people and they're fit. And I'm like, okay, no, I ain't that. And it's hard to picture them when they were where I am right now. Because like even look at Ashley, the top coach. Like you've seen her fit, and now you're looking at her, and you know she just had a baby, and she's not fit. I bet you in like at least she does at her own speed, but I bet you in a year she's gonna be like, oh. And then people that have seen her journey are gonna be like, oh shit, okay, that's how you relate to people.
Yeah.
100%. There has to be some patience, right, with yourself sometimes. And just for my own personal experience in the last couple of weeks here, I finished 80 days on a Saturday. I took a little kind of flex time. I had a birthday in that week. So I totally, I weighed myself in the morning after I finished 80 days. I was shocked. I was 124, which is like so weird to me. That's never a number I've seen in my life, actually. So 80 days for me kind of just tightened everything up. I lost a few pounds. But then I had a birthday, and we had a barbecue, and I ate some things, and I drank some things. And you guys, I put on 5 fucking pounds. 5. And I'm like, okay, whoa, right? Yeah. But I'm back down now. So it's not like I freaked out or whatever. I'm like, okay, I know what it is. I'm bloated. I don't feel good. I had like, and it took really just not even a week, and I'm back there now. And I know that I can stay there. I'm going to maintain. I don't normally eat cake and drink booze and, all of those kinds of things. And I did. And I knew that there was going to be a price to pay. And there was. I felt like shit on top of it all. And I'm like, oh, and 129 for me is I don't want to see 130 anymore. Then I know I've let things kind of go a little bit, right? So, but I could never maintain 125. I hit it before, but my happy weight was 128. So I feel like now my happy weight came down a little bit, and I can actually maintain that 125 now, which is awesome. And I have more muscle on me than I ever have. So patience. And I tell people little changes at a time so that you don't get overwhelmed with, like Margot was saying, I'm going to change everything and my life is going to be completely different. It doesn't work for most people to be able to just flip a switch like that. So little changes, like Tamara was saying, drink some freaking water for a while and then add something else and then add something else. And then in October, get the fitness going or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. That's why New Year's resolutions don't work, right? We set ourselves up to fail. If we took our year, so say you took your New Year's resolutions goals, we all have them. We all have these ideas what we would like to do in a new year, right? And we broke it down over a 12-month period where you're only tackling one thing at a time, you'd reach all of them. But we don't do that. We put it all on our plate at the same time and then expect us to show up for ourselves and then are disappointed when we don't. We wouldn't expect our friends to do that. I wouldn't expect any of you to do my New Year's resolutions lists. Yet for some reason, I think I can do it. You know what I mean? Like it's this weird mindset. So it's breaking it down into those little tangible steps. 100%. We should do a photo because I know Margot's chomping at the bit here. Her workout's gonna start in 7 minutes and counting, right?
I think it's just me and Sarah doing it today. You ready, Sarah?
She's ready. Everyone smile. And now Max didn't even come back on. I'm sorry, Max. You look so cute. I love your outfit. Anyone else have anything that they'd like to go over today? That was a good call. Never apologize for being fired up, Margot. I was so fired up last week, remember? Damn Herbalife.
I have a friend, right? I'm sorry, I cut into.
Yeah, all good.
I have a friend. I've been teaching Zumba since 2015, and we've been good friends since I was in junior high school. And we've always had a battle with her her weight. And I've always been telling her, it always starts with what you're eating, Sandra. You have to stop eating the 6 plates of rice and cut it down to like maybe a plate. And I'm like, we eat the same things. I understand because we have the same type of family and they cook the same type of things. But it's about if we can't eat right, we can at least cut down what we're eating that is wrong. Start there. And she's always telling me, yeah, Sergeline, I can do it. And it's always been a battle back and forth with her. So she's been watching my stories lately because I've been posting a lot more lately. And she's like, what are you doing? What are you eating? And I'm like, I eat the same things you do, Sandra. And she's like, so you still eat your mom cooking? I'm like, yes, I do, because I can't resist it. But what I do is portion control. I don't come to her house and eat the 3 plates she tries to feed me. I take 1 plate, cut it in half, and add some salad and some of the beans. And she's like, really? And I was like, yes, Sandra, really. So we went to a barbecue. We went to a barbecue. And both our parents were there, and then they bought, the big plates of rice and the chicken and the shrimp, and everything was buttered and bread, and and I called her over and I said, what are you eating? And she was like, whatever you're eating, that's what I'm eating. And I was trying to show her, let me show you what I do. Because my mom, she would just throw everything at me and the kids to eat. So I would show her, I was like, see this plate right here? This is going to be my plate. I'm only going to have 2 plates tonight. One of the plates is going to have that rice over here, and I don't eat meat. So I told her one of the plates is going to have rice, and I'm going to add some of the corn that you see over there, the grilled corn, and I'm going to have 1 roll. That's going to be, and the rest of the night I'm going to be chugging down water. That's it. And then the next plate is going to be filled with the fruits that nobody's standing over there and eating. That's it. And I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it, because you eat the same things that I eat. It's just controlling what you're eating. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And she went off. She had the 3 plates. She had 3 sodas. And then she was sitting on the chair and she was all sluggish. And Angie, she's the same friend I was telling you about. I sent her a picture of you and I was like, we're about the same age. Okay. And she's, her legs are swollen. She can't walk. And we're the same age. She can't walk as fast. And then she, I don't know what she's developing. She told me what it was. I forget. And I was telling her, it starts with what you're eating.
Yeah.
Then if you can pick up a few pounds, then you do that. Walk around the block. And she's telling me the same thing. She doesn't have the time. She doesn't have the energy. And I'm like, okay, you're going to turn, because her daughter's name is Sasha. I was like, you turn around and tell Sasha that in the next 3 years, you're not going to see her. And I'm going to adopt her as my daughter, because this is what's going to happen. I told her, you're going to die, Sandra. Because what you're eating, the things that you're putting into your body is not good. And I understand it takes time, but I think you are purposely doing it to yourself, because you see what it's doing to you, but you're not doing anything about it. And then I think that's what bothers me the most every time we see each other.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Right?
Yeah, it is. And I just think, we don't have to, well, we have to. I was like, we don't have to stop eating what you're eating. I just think, because I know it's hard, but if you portion control, then I think the next step is to, okay, let's eliminate what we're eating and put the right things on our plate.
Well, number 1 for her is cut out soda.
The
soda.
Oh, forget it.
It's
When having a party, the first thing she asked me to bring bottles and bottles of soda. I was like, I'm going to bring 6 bottles of water, and that's what everyone is having. Yeah. So that's why most of the time when she comes to my party, she doesn't like them, because I'll have bottles of water and put the juices under the table, because I understand some people want sweeteners and stuff. But you will never find, when you come to, you won't find meat unless my mom is there. You won't find all those chips. I hate chips. I think, like, if you have 3 bags of chips, that's it. You might as well don't eat anything for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
And
it's so interesting how I just read in the Super Life, Darren Olean's book, about how he talks about like eating disorders being like, bulimia and anorexia, right? But your friend has an eating disorder. That's an eating disorder. Knowing that food is killing us is an eating disorder. Willingly feeding that food to our children is an eating disorder. Like, it was
yes.
such a powerful section of the book. I was like, holy crap, like didn't even cross my mind to think about it that way. But he's like, we know that it's doing us harm, and yet we're still doing it. That's an eating disorder, right? And it's like, it's almost like an addiction, where it's, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's smoking, whether it's alcohol, whether it's whatever it is, there's some sort of block there for her that hopefully you're going to be able to help her, navigate through. It would be so cool for her to get into the community and just see, like,
Oh, I've been trying. She's like the
support.
first person I've been trying to pull in.
Yeah.
And I even gave her like a list of things that, that I know we both like, a list of things she could incorporate in like her daily meal. And she's like, I don't have the time. I'm like, yes, you do. You go to the supermarket every day. Just pick it up and put it in your fridge and eat it.
Yeah.
I'm like, take that out and change that. Don't have the chocolate ice cream. Pick up what is it? I told her to pick up is this vegan chocolate bars that like has like almost no calories in it. I'm like, eat that instead, like a portion of it instead.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you love salads, right? Just add a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of some beans, and make a big plate of that. And I promise and I promise you, wake up in the morning, you'll feel great. Instead of having the bowl of rice at midnight, you're gonna feel like crap in the morning.
Yeah, 100%. Would she be open to watching like success story videos?
Yeah, I think we're friends. If I take it to her house, she'll watch it.
Okay. So I'm going to find them, because I'm thinking of like the Beachbody Challenge videos from last year when we were in Indianapolis last year, and like the older couple, and right. Like I just, and you might've heard us share this story before, but they together and they're like late 60s, lost over almost 500 pounds together on this journey. And I ended up running into them in the building. Like I walked by them, and every time we watched it, we were all bawling. Goosebumps everywhere. I had to stop them as I was walking by them. And I said, you had every reason not to start. Age,
right.
Size, mobility. She was totally, I don't know if she was type 2 diabetic at the time or pre-diabetic, but her legs were so swollen. She was walking with canes, and they had every reason not to start. And they just started, right? It was just starting. And she started first, and he watched her for about 6 months, and then her husband joined in too. And it was one of the most powerful stories I have ever seen, because they had every reason not to start, and they still did. So I think like something like that would be really cool for her to see.
Yeah, I think it's health is one of the most important things on this planet.
Yeah.
Because I told her, if you die today because of these like the not eating right, what are you gonna? Because she only has one daughter, and her mom relies on her. What are you gonna what is she going to do
without you?
That's all. That's what I always tell her, And I was like, and I would show her pictures of people that are, people that are way older than us that are doing it. It shouldn't be a reason why you can't do it. But I guess it's like you said, it's a disorder, or maybe it's like
There's some sort of disconnect for sure.
Disconnect, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's got to hit her hard in the sense that her why to change has to be her daughter. It has to become like, I want to see my daughter have kids. I want to be alive for that. I want to be alive for my daughter to see what she does with her life. I want to be, alive. I don't want someone else. That has to shift for her. Right now, there isn't a big enough why. I would hope that the pandemic would kind of scare her a little, because you and her being the same age, if you got COVID, your body's going to fight it off a lot easier than her. I don't know if she would survive it, right? Because her body's already fighting so hard to process what it's going through. So it's those sorts of like reality checks.
All you can do is keep being an example for her, right? And show her that it can be done. And
Yeah,
that
I share every video I share it to her. I was like, you're not doing it while you're watching those movies. This is what I'm doing while you're watching those movies. I think you should get up and join me. And her thing is, oh, you're moving too fast. So I sent her modifications because I wanted her to join me in MBF. So she was like, oh no, there's too much the bottom rope, and the lady was the high knees. So I sent her the modification.
Yeah.
She was like, oh yeah, I can do that. Oh yeah, definitely, Sergio. I definitely can do that. And I'm like, so let's go.
Yeah.
So it's an everyday thing with her.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep loving on her and keep showing her that, you know, that, and answer all of those things that all those roadblocks that she's putting up in front of herself. You just keep moving them aside and showing her that, no, you still can do it. You still can. And one day she's going to be like, okay, right? But we can't give up on those people.
Yeah.
So thank you. So thank you.
She will, for sure.
Yeah, she's one of my best friends. I'm hoping she jumps on. I've been begging her to join me in Zumba for like years and years. She came to one class, and I promise you, she left after the half an hour because she was so tired.
Yeah.
And she came with her daughter, and I had to tell her, no, you can leave, but your daughter's staying.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I think your daughter's staying. This is ridiculous.
Well, you know what would be interesting for you to do is, you know how I was mentioning like the free groups earlier? It would be interesting if you created kind of like monthly themed free groups, but that are almost directed at her or for her, not at her, because she's not the only person in that situation, right?
No, definitely, yeah.
And I'm sure that by getting her into a group like that, like maybe you have a let's cut the soda, you know, a cut the soda group. And that's all you do is replace it with water, and even like carbonated water, like bubble water, if she's missing that fizz. You know, let's have a cut the soda group, and then have a let's plate our food group where you know, every day they focus on like what their portion is on their plate, right? And you do that the following month. And that, do you know what I mean? Because there's other people around that are also in the same boat. The people for me, like the groups for me that I found were amazing, that were super successful, were a hydration group. I couldn't believe how many people loved being in that. And it's because it's something that resonated with me, and the 5 a.m. club, like getting up and getting your workout. But those are things that resonate with me. So those people came to me because of those things. So because you're exposed in that environment of it, you know, I don't know anyone who drinks soda anymore. Like it has been out of my life for so long that it's not even something that we notice. My kids don't drink it. Like I never drank it as a kid. So it's not in my reality, but that's not the same for you, right? Maybe where you live and the people around you, it's big part of life. So that might be a good thing, just to cut the soda week kind of thing. And then she's only tackling one thing at a time, right? Because right now it's a massive mountain.
Yeah, but she's going to keep watching you, and I have to say, you look amazing.
You do.
Beautiful, and you're doing, awesome.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I've been following Tam for so long. I'm so happy I didn't stop following her, because I was like, I'm about to delete this woman. Every time I go through her stories, she's always freaking exercising. Like, I'm tired of it. I guess I was mad at myself because I wasn't doing what she was doing.
Oh, I love it. I got to tell you a quick story before we sign off. So my next door neighbor, because I've been teaching Zumba on Zoom, right, on Thursday nights. And so it's loud, and I live in a townhouse. And so my neighbor has a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and she goes for a walk at the time, takes them outside. And the little boy says to her and Clarissa was the one who shared this story with me, Mom, why is Tamara always exercising? Right? I just was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, because she's a better human being because of it. So anyway, thank you for sharing, ladies. We will sign off now. Go have a
wonderful day.
Sunday.
Bye, everyone.
And we will chat with you all soon. Okay? Bye.
Bye.